Coming up, police say it's a tragic reminder how losing sight of your child, even for a second, can be disastrous. We'll show you how to keep your kids safe around the pool next. Up next on Channel 6 News, a sad ending to a summer gathering in Clifton Park when a 4-year-old drowns in a pool. A man turns himself in to face vehicular manslaughter charges after a deadly hit-and-run accident. And 4 days after a pipe bomb goes off in an area school, police officers fill the building, but this time it's a precaution. The news starts in 30 seconds. Our top story, a Clifton Park family learns the hard way even 1 minute of inattention can end in tragedy. Tonight they're dealing with the loss of a 4-year-old child. Good evening, I'm Beth Wenger. The child was pronounced dead late this afternoon at Albany Med. 4-year-old Nicholas Martin was found floating in the pool behind his home on Route 146 in Clifton Park. Family members pulled him out and had already started CPR when paramedics got there. Nicholas was airlifted to Albany Med, where he died. There were adults around at the time of the accident, but investigators think the boy wandered into the pool when no one was looking and drowned before anyone noticed him. Unfortunately, police say that happens all too often, but a look beyond the headline shows there are some things you can do to keep your kids safe. First of all, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that you don't even consider putting in a pool unless your children are at least 5 years or older. If you do have a pool, make sure it's surrounded by a fence on all 4 sides. Most young children who drown in pools wander out of the house and fall in. It goes without saying that your children should never be out of your sight and never more than an arm's length away when they're in the pool. But the American Academy of Pediatrics also says anyone watching young children swimming should be trained in CPR as well as basic rescue techniques. Now, it's important to keep toys away from the pool so your child isn't tempted to go near the water. You also have the proper rescue equipment on hand. Even if your child does fall into the pool, there are devices available today to prevent the situation from turning tragic. Catch a Kid, a Texas company with an office in Albany, will install a net over your pool. The net is strong enough to support the weight of most adults and will keep your child out of the water.
Before, I always had a life preserver on both of them, and I was just constantly on them. And even that made me nervous, because I knew one time I'd turn my back to say something to the dog, and that would be when they'd fall in.
I tell you something, when we get done with a job, it's just like the expression on some of the parents' faces. They're so relieved. They simply know that their kid is not getting in the pool.
While Catch a Kid claims it's never had a drowning on a pool using the safety net, no product is foolproof. Police say there is no substitute for close supervision. For more information on the Catch a Kid, check out our website. That's at WRGB.com. We're following a developing story out of Colony at this hour. Police say a woman was walking along Central Avenue near McNutt when she was hit by a car. Police are still on the scene trying to figure out how it happened. We're told the injuries appear to be serious. New at 11, Pittsfield police are also looking for someone involved in a hit-and-run accident tonight on North Street. Police say the driver sped off down North Street after a liquor store refused to sell alcohol to him. He hit a woman walking in the street and dragged her as far as the intersection of North and Stoddard. She was pronounced dead at Berkshire Medical Center.
He ended up taking off this way, and then he hit the lady, dragged her all the way around the corner with her underneath the truck, and then he sped off down the street.
Police say the driver's father later came back to the scene in that same car. The driver who hit the woman turned himself into police a short time later. So far, neither man has been identified by authorities. Police have not released the names of 2 people killed in an overnight accident in Hoosick Falls. 4 young people were in the car headed west when it veered off Johnson Hill Road and hit a tree. The car exploded, sending flames shooting into the air. Both of the people in the front were killed instantly. The 2 rear passengers are being treated at the hospital. No word tonight on their conditions. Police are still looking for the sports car witnesses say caused a bad accident in the northbound lane of 787 this afternoon. Other drivers on the road at the time tell Channel 6 the sports car cut off another car driven by an elderly man. The man slammed on his brakes and a pickup truck smashed into him from behind. Both the elderly driver and his wife had to be taken to Albany Med. So did the driver of the truck. Well, it was a day of upheaval in the local Roman Catholic Church as one priest is reinstated while another is removed under allegations of sexual misconduct. Joe Gambino has more.
A traditional Latin Mass at St. Peter's Historic Catholic Church in Troy, a service often performed by Father James McNerney.
I'm saddened to hear that he was removed.
McNerney, a pastor at St. Peter's and St. Paul the Apostle, has been removed from ministry following allegations that he sexually abused a boy back in the 80s.
Father McNerney strenuously denies the charge, but the review board felt that there was enough reason to believe that something might have happened.
And because of this, Father Doyle says Bishop Hubbard decided to place McNerney on administrative leave.
Father was a good friend of Father Minkler, and I hope this isn't a case of persecution.
This is a similar concern of attorney John Aratakis, who represents many people who claim clergy abuse. Minkler was named as a person who wrote a critical letter about homosexual activities in the Albany diocese. Officials say the priest took his own life earlier this year. John Aratakis tells Channel 6, quote, "It's highly suspicious to remove this man at this time because of his close relationship with Father John Minkler. It's my belief that Father McNerney may have substantiated Father Minkler's allegations of sexual misconduct against Bishop Hubbard."
I would say that is absolutely untrue. That I'm not aware of anything that Father McNerney has said publicly or privately about the Minkler situation and the allegations against Bishop Hubbard.
Aratakis also questions the reinstatement of Father Alan Jupin to Our Lady of Fatima Parish in Schenectady.
They knew there were others, like John had said, and they didn't even bother to check into that. I never got a single call.
Tim Sawicki, who's represented by Aratakis, has publicly accused Jupin of sexual abuse in the past, but the Diocesan Review Board found, quote, no grounds that Jupin sexually abused his accusers. As for the timing of the release, Father Doyle tells us they were investigated separately, but it happened that at the meeting of the Diocesan Review Board, both investigations came to a conclusion, so they were announced together. In the newsroom, Joe Gambino, Channel 6 News.
There was more than the usual number of people attending the Taconic High graduation in Pittsfield today. Many of them were police. Pittsfield police stepped up security threefold with more uniformed and plainclothes officers after a homemade pipe bomb exploded in front of Taconic High on Wednesday. Police were on hand in force to thwart another act.
We want all the citizens of Pittsfield to feel secure that they can come out and enjoy the graduation.
Book bags and coolers were checked by police at the entrance. State and environmental police helped out. 200 students graduated without any trouble. Well, we might be headed into another rocky week in the weather department. Mike has the first look at your forecast.
After what was a real quiet weekend, Mary Beth, we've got a couple of systems set to impact us through the work week. The first coming in for your morning commute tomorrow. The forecast shows that we're waking up with the chance, a pretty good one, for scattered showers and thunderstorms. 62 at 8 o'clock, 68 by noontime with some breaks beginning to develop in the clouds. Still some scattered showers and storms, though, right through the afternoon. They could hit at any time, and some of them tomorrow afternoon could be quite strong as we'll have a pretty humid air mass in place by then. Temperatures getting up into the mid-70s for highs tomorrow, and pollen levels being reduced somewhat because of the morning rain. We'll be in the borderline low to moderate category tomorrow, but pollen levels come back up for Tuesday and Wednesday. And yes, there are a few more chances for scattered showers and storms after we get through tomorrow. I'll have those in the 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Coming up, the strength of this tornado lifts a house right from its foundation as a cameraman watches. The amazing pictures in 60 seconds.
You're watching Channel 6 News, live with Mary Beth Wenger. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
Tornadoes spun their way throughout Minnesota and Iowa overnight, but the most dramatic pictures came here out of Kansas. This video shows a house near Wichita being drawn right up into the tornado as if it were a vacuum cleaner. Luckily, the residents weren't home at the time. No serious injuries were reported. Around-the-clock efforts are going on north of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as humans try to stem the tide of nature's rising floodwaters. Heavy rains have forced the Milwaukee River to overspill its banks. Today it was 7 feet above normal. Sandbaggers try to keep their possessions dry. The exceptionally wet spring has tallied up damages of $5 million. A 33-year-old woman who was trying to get into her aunt's home late at night was mistaken for a burglar with deadly results. 63-year-old Rebecca Brown had experienced 3 burglaries in Tampa, so when she heard the noise, she grabbed her gun and yelled to the person to identify herself. When she didn't hear anything, she shot and killed her niece, Latanza Williams. Today, she's horrified.
The idea of knowing that I did it, the truth. It's just going to take a while for me to get over it. Afterward, she went to hollering saying, "It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me." And I looked and I see it was my niece. And that's it.
Williams leaves behind 3 children. No charges will be filed. Well, most people celebrate their birthdays with a little cake, maybe some noisemakers and party hats, but once you've been commander-in-chief, it takes a little more to thrill you. That's why former President Bush Sr., that is, decided to celebrate turning 80 by jumping out of a plane. This was actually his second successful jump today. He took a trial run this morning before the cameras were rolling. Well, coming up, Mike will have your instant Doppler 6 forecast just in time for the start of the work week, so don't go away.
Now, your instant Doppler 6 forecast with meteorologist Mike Augustyniak.
Tomorrow, a more humid day than what we've been dealing with over the past couple of days. Temperatures actually a little bit cooler tomorrow than today, but it will be feeling more summery. We'll wake up with a good deal of clouds and quite a bit of scattered shower and a few thunderstorms out there as well. 70, make that 62 at 8 o'clock. And then 75 for the afternoon high tomorrow. More scattered showers and storms, although they won't be quite as widespread tomorrow afternoon. They'll still be out there. And I think we'll get a few breaks of sunshine coming in after about noontime or 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Want to remind you that we do have another encore presentation of Storm Warning 2 coming up. It's a week from yesterday, next Saturday, June 19th. It airs at noontime on Channel 6. Set your VCRs if you missed it the first couple of times, or you just want to see it again. We've got temperatures in the 60s out there this evening. It's been a very nice evening, a little bit breezy, but low humidity and temperatures remaining relatively mild. 65 right now at Albany. Same thing at Glens Falls. Rutland holding on to 60s. It's 64 there. 63 at North Adams, and Pittsfield is the cool spot this evening, checking in with temperatures in the upper 50s, right around 59 degrees. That's Poughkeepsie, the 63. And we've got more 60s off to the west into central and western New York. Temperatures are being matched with relatively low dew points to make that nice, comfortable air mass out there. Dew point at 46 means the relative humidity is at 50%. We've had a south wind. Again, it's been a bit gusty at times, and it will continue to be that way overnight tonight, sustained now at 15 miles an hour. This dew point number, again, is what really controls how comfortable it feels out there. Dew points in the 40s and even low 50s are felt as relatively comfortable to most of us. But notice the dew point chart as you head further west. We've got a 64-degree dew point in Buffalo, and then 60s and 70-degree dew points off to the west in the Ohio Valley and the southern states. This juicy summer-like air mass is what's going to get blown in on those southerly winds coming up through the night tonight, and especially during the first half of tomorrow. But with the dry air that's in place right now, a batch of showers that tried to come through earlier tonight was relatively unsuccessful. A few reports of up to 1/10 of an inch of rain across the western Adirondacks and along the Mohawk River Valley. But again, this is a very small fly in the ointment, so to speak, for this evening's weather. We've still got a weak area of high pressure holding on to keep our skies relatively dry. That's giving up the ghost, though, heading out to sea off to the east through the night tonight, and that will bring in the warmer and more unstable air mass, along with some scattered showers and storms. Another round coming in as we head towards tomorrow morning. Looks like these are set to arrive around or a couple of hours after daybreak, so if you're heading into work tomorrow morning, you want to bring along the umbrella. There's a pretty good chance we'll get a few downpours and perhaps some rumbles of thunder. Pretty strong line of storms out here to the west earlier today, but I think they'll tend to weaken as they move in tomorrow. So there's that steadier rain threat for the morning, then just scattered pop-up showers and storms coming up for the afternoon. A more humid day with high temperatures up near 75 degrees. Some of those storms tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening could be relatively strong with some gusty winds and some torrential rains. Of course, I'll be here with live Instant Doppler 6 through the evening to keep you informed if anything does happen in that realm, severe weather or whatnot. 59 coming up tonight for the low, so somewhat more mild than last night, variably to mostly cloudy skies. We'll get that chance for showers and storms in here by about daybreak tomorrow. They'll be with us steady through the morning hours, and then some breaks of sun with just scattered showers and storms for the afternoon, about 75. 63 tomorrow night, more scattered showers and storms. They'll become more widespread once again after midnight, and we'll keep them in here through at least Tuesday morning. Then drying out, we'll see temperatures go up as humidity levels drop for Tuesday afternoon. We'll be up into the mid-80s. Wednesday looks dry, but another chance for showers and storms in here by Thursday. Mary Beth.
Thanks, Mike. A happy update to a story we brought you yesterday. 256 special lemonade stands all over the country, including one in our area, have raised more than $200,000 for pediatric cancer research. The idea started 4 years ago with one stand, run by a 4-year-old cancer patient who wanted to raise money for her hospital. Yesterday, groups all over the country agreed to hold their own stands. In Queensbury, the Alex's Lemonade stand at the Garden Time raised $172.28, selling both lemonade and cookies. The stand was manned by a group of Queensbury Elementary School students and their parents. Coming up, Boomer rolls back into the Bronx, plus the Mets respond to a scolding. And a local woman goes diving for Olympic gold. Tim Mack has it all next in sports.
Now, Channel 6 Sports with Tim Mack.
Welcome back. Cassandra Cardinal was already assured of one chance at an Olympic medal this summer, but she wanted another. Last week, the Shaker High grad earned a spot on the Olympic team thanks to her performance in the platform synchronized diving event, along with her teammate, Sarah Hildebrand. Today, if Cardinal wanted a spot on the individual platform team, she had to beat Hildebrand. Cardinal, the former New York State diving champ, executed some impressive dives at the Olympic trials tonight, but was not able to close the gap and earn that second spot. Still, she will be at the Olympics this summer in the synchronized diving events. To baseball. Padres-Yanks series in the Bronx was great as the '98 World Series rematch, but what the fans really wanted to see was Boomer. David Wells returned to Yankee Stadium today, a year after leaving the team to play in San Diego. Boomer was the Boomer of old. 7 shutout innings for the 41-year-old left-hander. Padres led it 2-0 into the 9th. Then, it's that old Yankee magic. 2 outs. Hideki Matsui hits one to right field. It's a home run. Make it 2-1. Next up, pinch hitter Kenny Lofton just off the disabled list. And what better time to hit his first home run as a Yankee. We are tied. We are off to extra innings. In the 12th, the Yanks give up 3 runs. Then they rally for 2 runs themselves. Bases loaded, 1 out. Pinch hitter Ruben Sierra brings Jason Giambi home on that sacrifice fly. Yanks win a thriller 6-5 in 12 innings, ruining Boomer's return to the Bronx. I had the pleasure of watching the Red Sox throw batting practice to the Dodgers for 5 innings yesterday afternoon at Fenway Park. Today, the Sox tried to put that 14-5 disaster behind them as they wrapped up the series. And with Pedro on the mound, things were different. Martinez, 5 Ks over 7 innings. Meanwhile, Pokey Reese was great in the field and at the plate. His 4th inning double touched the wall and scored 2 runs. Where, I ask you, was this performance yesterday? Sox win 4-1. Now, yesterday, the normally mild-mannered Art Howe blew his top in a post-loss clubhouse meeting. Today, his struggling Mets team responded. Top of 4, Mike Piazza hits one that confuses Carlos Beltran. Oh, forgot about the wall. The 2-run homer, that sends Beltran into a little collision action. Mets lead it 2-zip. Then, perhaps inspired by how screaming fit Karim Garcia makes the kind of play the team has not been making in recent games. Garcia would then score in the 7th, courtesy of a Mike Cameron RBI. Mets win, ending a 5-game losing streak. This was a banner week for the South Troy Dodgers. 4 former players who were part of their 2000 World Series team were either drafted or signed by Major League clubs. Those players joined Dodger Tim Stauffer, who was picked last year by the Padres. Now, the current edition of the team was on the field this afternoon. The Scotty Mack powerhouse had a doubleheader against the Connecticut Bombers. Former Columbia High teammates Brian Rose and John Nicola, also teammates on South Troy. Rose brought one of their 5 runs across the plate in the opener with this sac fly. The Dodgers would go on to win both games by identical 5-3 scores. NASCAR racing at Long Pond this weekend, a track close enough to attract plenty of Capital Region fans. They got to see the Pocono 500 get a little messy in the late going. A caution-filled final half of the race, not everyone making the final turn, but plenty of drivers very warm under the collar. Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth traded spin-outs after a caution. And finally, it was Jimmy Johnson rolling past the confusion for his 2nd win in 3 weeks. He edges out Jeremy Mayfield and Bobby Labonte.
Flo's team works so hard, and the more adversity that's thrown at us, the more everybody smiles for some weird reason. I really can't understand it, but we love it when the cards are against us and we're able to rally back.
Annika Sorenstam was in cruise control early at the LPGA Championship. Rain forced the players to squeeze in 36 holes on the final day, but it looked like this one was in the books after 18. Sorenstam set a 54-hole record, shooting a 764, putting her well in front of the pack. Then she made it an adventure over the final 18, actually shooting one over par. But Sorenstam held on for her 7th major championship, winning her 2nd straight LPGA championship. Saratoga's Dottie Pepper finished tied with 70. The Buick Classic went into overtime today in Harrison, New York. On the third playoff hole, Sergio Garcia completed his rally, knocking off Rory Sabatini. Next stop, the U.S. Open next weekend. And in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, the Detroit Pistons are hanging tough with the Lakers. They actually have the lead, and the Pistons are looking to go up 3-1 in that series. MB, that's it for sports.
And that's it for all of us tonight. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great evening.